Welcome in the ring, folks. Welcome in the ring. A very good evening to each and every one of you, the 300 plus of you who are already tuned in. A very good night to all of you. Pace and power. We're ringing that bell for all of you. 400 of you now. We pull it back a little bit there. Wilma Grant says, boots on the ground. How you folks doing? How you folks doing? You know, I was looking at some of the stories they got lined up, and I realized, I don't toot my horn too much around these parts. I don't toot my horn too much around these parts. That's what I start feeling. I don't talk about how bright I am and how smart I am. Pace and power. Good to have Charles Nelson here. Good to have Vanilla Garnett, Asquith Schultz on the live tonight. Come on down, Ingrid King, Linda Webster, Mandy Cummins, Eula Trotman. Good to have you there. And Dolly Anderson. You too, Rajin Bim. Good to have you on the live tonight. Lovely Lily, Volme Wilson, all the other folks joining us. Happy to have you all on with us tonight. Folks, I'm happy to be back in the city. Happy to be back in the city. But I miss Region 1. To all the folks who are joining us from there, I miss Region 1 badly. So, it's so tranquil. I think that's what I was looking for. So cozy, I got to get a little cottage. Loretta in Region 1. Yeah. From a little cottage, not in Negril, Region 1. Please and thank you. Marlon Thomas on the live. Look, names, Marlon, quoting there. Alexis Douglas, Lynn Finance. Good to have all of you on the live. That's how we say it. That's how we say it. We on the live. Good to have each and every one of you. Look, the comments, man. Comments. Love it. Love all of it. Good to have all of you on the live tonight. Except them boys. Same set. This election, you know what you got to do. This election, you all know what you got to do. We ain't playing around. They might be playing, but we don't play with them. Do not play with them. Same set. They do a pack of nonsense. Another one come and say, oh, give me some time. Give me some. Don't get them no time. All right? Don't get them no time. Flush them out. Region 1, flush them out. Flush them out. All right? Show them no mercy at the ballot box. At all. No mercy. No retreat, no surrender. Good to have all of you on the live tonight. Where are you joining us from? We got show off and we got a little new thing. We got show off. Good to have all of you on the live tonight. Wherever you're joining us, I wish we could get this a little bigger. I wish we could get a little bigger. I want to see some of these comments bigger. Come on, streamer. I want to see these comments huge, large, like my head. Folks, a very good evening to all of you. Well, you all realize I'm in happy spirits. You all realize I'm in happy spirits. Those of you in the East Bank, COVID and so on. Good to have you on the live tonight. You all realize I'm in happy spirits. Leslin Hamilton, Alexis, Paulette, Lynette Fernandez, who vex. I don't toot my horn a lot, about my good looks and so on. About my good looks and so on, Whatever missing, you got a good dentist, you could fix a lot of things. You got a good hairstylist, you could put back what missing. We got to flush them out this election, folks. That's what we're doing. Flushing them out this election. So happy. I see people endorsing Jack Dio. Jack Dio on the ballot, flush he out. One time. Flush. All the corruption. Out. Fed up with them. They send people tell up to the states, sir. harass this family. Sir Brian and Amicia, harass these people. Send people till up to the US. Or they can come and knock by your door. Y'all don't open for them. What a wicked government. What an installed regime. And that's why when you get an opportunity for clap it in them. That's what you do. Clap it in them. Songly too. You know, songly and resoundingly. Good to have all of you on the live tonight. Good to see all the comments. Leonard and Gail and Anthony, Everett, Beatrice, Fidel, Mercy. You can see Justin. You see how we showing me comments and so on? Justin, you see people following suit. Some people don't like see nothing, you know. Some good follow me's. Andrew, right? Andrew, they don't like see nothing. Soon as I start saying share the live, not everybody, oh, share. Everybody calling names. I'm calling Debbie. I love it. I ain't complaining. You know they say imitation is the highest form of flattery. Love it. You see them just saying, love it. You know, one come in the screen at some of you. You see some of them push them to episode. Same way. You know, once you know you got your good skin and you got alternative, even though some might be you know, it is what it is, folks. Love all of you. Happy to have you all on the live tonight. Nigel Plus. Now some of y'all gonna be typing more bad just to see your comments going. I wish you could. I'm sure if I fiddle with it, we could get it bigger. You know, some things you gotta fiddle with. I said, man, good with my hands. I want you to know that by the sweat of your brow, the work of your hands. I said, man, good with my hands. You know, good to have all of you on the live. I just say things to effect to make sure I keep your blood pressure balanced. You know, even though I wouldn't even send the little tablet money that you're being spared and saving and so on to us and say, well, hold on to this, go and see some places and so on. You know, next week we should be out of town for a couple of days on the next sojourn. Maybe Tuesday, Wednesday next week. I'm giving you all long notice. Wednesday of this week, I'm giving you all notice for Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. We can be out of town, bringing you all the valid, incredible information. Same way, valid and credible information. Same way we can bring it to you all. That being said, folks, let's head into it. I don't want to detain you all unnecessarily, but let's head into it. Pearce and Palm, boots on the ground. Way back in down, folks. The opener, as I said, when I started, right, there was method to the madness. Welcome to our broadcast officially for all of you folks joining us. Good to have you all on the line. My Region 1 folks, sending you all some love, hugs and kisses. I miss you all real bad, right? Real bad. I miss you all. Pull it back for you all. I miss you all real bad. Good to have all of you on the live. Whether you're joining us from Region 1 or you're joining us from Region 11, we are happy to have you on the live tonight. All right, and that's the perfect spot for my segue. The opener. I did say, my one regret sometimes, I don't toot my horn too much. You know, when I look back over the last few years and the travels I have made, you know, to bring the valid and credible information. I was telling the National Assembly recently when they bring this oil spill legislation, this oil pollution bill. I said, y'all don't really care about oil pollution. Trinidad had an oil spill. You went Vikram? You're wasting time, you know. Use a whole Minister of Natural Resources, right? With purview of oil and gas. You had an oil spill right in Trinidad. Never mind, it wasn't crude oil, it was bunker seed or something like that. Right? Same thing, spill a spill. And you could have gone and seen in real time, and you weren't interested in oil spill. What you all were interested in is giving Exxon edge. Right? When last you heard that? When last somebody give you edge? Well, if you know what's edge, I can't help you. Right? But you open it tonight. I told him in the National Assembly. Right? You gotta come better. You gotta know, you gotta marry theory with the practice. Come on, Barrett, right next door. They should have had a whole team on the ground studying oil spill, observing the protocols Trinidad have in real time. These people pumping oil, these people pumping a long time. Right? You think it's now to young pump it? You think it's now, what's the other Prime Minister? Kid Rowley? Dr. Kid Rowley? You think it's now Dr. Kid Rowley pumping? He is old pump man. It's long the pumping there. In Trinidad, there was 100 years of pumping. We can learn a thing or two from that. Y'all ever see oil spill in real time? Damaging the ecosystem, damaging fishing industry. Take a look at some of what I told the Jagabats and Trench Crappos in the National Assembly quite recently. Take a look and take a listen.
And Sherrod Duncan contended that neither the Prime Minister Mark Phillips nor Natural Resources Minister Vikram Bharat were really interested in oil spill management. He said that, on the other hand, the parliamentary opposition has been showing keen interest.
In February of last year, there was an oil spill in Trinidad and Tobago. I know the Honorable David Patterson was otherwise engaged and some other folks on this side of the House. And so I was nominated to represent the parliamentary opposition in Trinidad and Tobago. I thought when I was there looking at an actual oil spill, I may have run into the Prime Minister who says that he has an interest in oil spill. I thought I at least would have run into the subject minister, Vikram Bharat.
Duncan said that none of them was there.
For instance, when the Venezuelans were moving with that referendum a year ago, when we were in Imbatero, we were in Yarakita, I didn't see any government officials there. And then they're going to want to come here and lecture to us how much they care. But when it matters, in that moment of this nation, they are always absent.
At the time he was debating the oil spill bill, he said that he hopes no one ever has the opportunity to witness an oil spill.
I saw that oil spill affect Trinidad, affect Tobago in particular, from Scarborough, and you go right up to the coast. You pass, I heard the Honorable Minister talk theoretically about oil spills affecting fishermen. You go to a place in Tobago like Lambo, where fishermen were actually affected by the oil spill in Trinidad. And you can see with your own eyes what impact and devastation it can have on that kind of industry.
He said that Trinidad and Tobago is still counting the cost of that oil spill. He said that the opposition has first-hand knowledge of how an oil spill can devastate a country and its industries.
And not only that oil spill moved from Trinidad, got all the way to Grenada, got all the way, for instance, to Venezuela. So those are the implications that we think about when we think about oil spill and oil spill legislation, having seen the thing up close and personal.
However, the government is bent on contesting the right to parent company guarantee.
Yep. I don't took my hand too much, you know. I find not nearly enough. You know, we gotta get hard now. In this country, if you don't toot your own horn. I'm happy. Maria Prasad said she was there in Tobago at that time, and I see it. That's what Maria said. It wasn't fiction. You had to have been on the ground. It was fascinating, and you all know I told you all, even with all that oil, thousands of barrels of oil, bunker seat leaked into that Caribbean Sea. Tobago was so beautiful. And then they allowed me to be on that beach alone. Right? I told you, I stood up on that beach. You know, Travis gave his life in the plane when we were coming back. Dip, 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 pop, pop, pop. Every cloud that every cloud the pilot hit, pop, pop, pop. I heard Travis at the back. We said, Father, give you my life. Forgive me. All the wrongs I ever do. You know, I say, yeah. Thank you, Jesus. Amen. Robo. Start speaking in tongues at the back. That's how I stood on that beach in Trinidad and Tobago, Canoe Bay. I said, Father, give me the strength to fight these Jacobats and trench crappos, these tadpoles and these cricketers. Deliver my enemies into my hand. Maria, Patricia, good to have all of you, Jack and Eva. Deliver these Jacobats and uncircumcised Philistines, these Pharisees and Philistines, these Jebusites. Deliver. Y'all don't pray like that. Y'all don't pray like that. Set ambush for the enemy, Father. Just like that. Just like that. Good to have all of you on the line. Y'all know tis the season. Y'all know tis the season, folks. Tis the season. You know, people catch you down to banter. How you folks been doing? Listen to me. Listen to me. We got a whole of focus. You got to hold a focus. No, I saw. Hold on. Hold on a little bit. Hold on. Let me got my inner Craig tonight. Hold on. When the questions last elections start peppering Craig, Chinaman, he decided he going before the media, he can answer questions and so on. When Dennis them start listening questions, he said, hold on. I gotta look for that video. Hold on. Disappear. Never to be seen again. Never to be seen. Start ready for the chronicle right away. Hold on. Election time. I see headline like we're really desperate for headline now. We're really desperate. Schumann endorses the PPP. He will be voting for the PPP. Where's the news? It's copy. Today's Wednesday, the 28th of May. It's a dry news day. Schumann endorses. Schumann working with the PPP since they come in. Has his seat advising them on aviation. Big pay. Big brown bag. LBJ, right, Liberty and Justice Party, has disintegrated, obliterated, like TCI, the Change Initiative, obliterated. Right? Pressure bus pipe. And then pipe bust up. And he said he sold to the devil. Soul is sold to the devil. Spawn of Satan. He endorsed. We must be really desperate for headlines. Huh? Well, I endorse the APNU AFC coalition. Y'all put in a headline, please. Since a dry news day, I endorse the APNU AFC coalition. I'm coalition 150%. I am 150%. Who execs? Sandy Love? My God. Paul says AFC out in La La Land. Paul, don't make a fight it tonight. Don't come on this program bad talk AFC. It's my part. Like bad talk them. You don't bad talk them. A lot of people catching anti-banter. Let's start there. And we got a lot more to see. Right? It's a slow news cycle. So something got a printer. Right? So they're rolling them out. Like we really lose heavyweights in this country. Schumann now reappear after 5 years. He endorsed. Sing for your supper, my brother. Sing for your supper. Sing for your supper. Yesterday, big meeting. Big meeting. Big meeting at hold on. Big meeting at Freedom House. Big meeting. You know, this is a government that really don't care. The proof of the pudding, you all know where it is. I find that for using this phrase a lot, the proof of the pudding is in eating. Block off the whole Arab Street. What kind of meeting you can be having that you block off the whole Arab Street? Huh? What an uncaring government. You know rush hour, how town busy and congested. More vehicles and roads now. Right? They block off Arab Street. So if you know, you say I can shut down Arab Street, quick bus down, camp, pop. You get to Arab Street, boom, the road block off. Why? Because they're meeting, they're meeting frightened. I could only ascribe it to the and I saw the insiders saying that it was due to this big launch. this launch actually didn't have. Apparently, they said they wasn't ready for it. They wasn't ready for it. Folks, I wanna tell you something. Hold on. I wanna tell you something. I want to be honest with y'all. I want to continue to be honest with you. Right? I won't continue on it. Right? There's a line from the movie Troy when the king tells Brad Pitt, right? Even enemies can show honor. Right? I won't be honest with y'all. Y'all don't vex with me. Could I be honest? Big meeting. Right? Here happened. Hold on. Here happened. Let me tell you the story. Right? Let me tell you the real truth. What's going on and what's happening. Right? The real truth. Back up the whole. Fed up with them. Fed up. Let's tell you the real truth. Listen. Mohammed put out his address, Independence Day, the 26th, that he was launching 2 days ago, today's 28th. And that thing set off a firestorm. The last time I viewed it, it had over 800,000 views. Irrespective of which political party you're from, that is something. Right? That is something. The last time I checked it, it had 26,000 emojis. It doesn't take anything away from you to say that is something. Right? What I vex with is the lies people want to tell. You're seeing things with your own eye, and they tell you it's not so. So the day after the launch, everybody part, meeting one time. The day after the declaration of his candidacy, meeting one time, every man jack. Everyone was there as well, block up the whole road. Who is them? Who is them? It don't take anything out of you. If across the aisle, you know a man could stand up and articulate. Huh? Give Burnham what Burnham is due. Give Chedi what Chedi is due. It doesn't take anything out of you. And if people is crosses, transcripers, jagabats, tadpoles, and cricketers, give them that too. So in this social media age, there's currency. Which politician don't want a video that they put out there to be viewed 800,000 times in 6 hours, 7, 8 hours? Huh? You think if that happens, if Irfan has that kind of impact, he wouldn't think being returned to office unopposed? 26,000 emojis. Huh? I saw they just launched something, some asphalt plant. 2 hours, the live video. Irfan, 100 cheers. He was the whole president. Those things matter in politics. And the people seeking re-election, 2 hours airtime, and only 100 people feel motivated. So I use a whole president, you know, and half of the 100 is them trolls and bots. Half of the 100 is the trolls and the bots. So if you're an incumbent, that got to be striking, right? Who is this 800,000 people? That's the whole population in Guyana watch that video at least once. To put it in those terms, you know, we constantly at 750,000. The whole population in Guyana watch it at least once. Right? I think I saw 2,500 shares and so on. That is currency in politics. Don't let me fool myself. So they were a little confused. But this is the season, folks. Right? We understand that the race is not for the swift. But those that endure it to the end, it is not to the swift. And we have seen governments rise in this country. We have seen governments fall. We have seen third parties emerge to commanding heights. It's a brave new world. Nobody got the title deed on this country. Well, the people think they got a title deed. That's why they can block off Rob Street. But you, the electorate, you can change that. In Region 1, where they try to kerfuffle us, You can change that. Pre them at this school in Region 1. Quietly, on the down low, they abandoned the project. They abandoned the project. Quietly. And until we went there and exposed them, and the rottenness and the corruption for what it is, suddenly, you're being told, oh, the contractor was let go for this and that and so on. But you never thought to be accountable to the guy and these people and to let them know. You never thought so until you were exposed. We've got some things that GECOM to expose to. We have some things, your friend Claudette, sing, who swing. We got some things there to expose. A national election, general and regional, is not a private affair, brothers and sisters. It is not a private affair. How could a chairman and a CEO by themselves cook up a date, cook up a plan without the input of the commission? That body is not chairman and CEO, election body of Guyana. How could something as important as the date of an election that touches and concerns all Guyanese just be between the two of them? How could the period just be between the two of them? Huh? How could it be? How could it be now? How could it be? So mischief is afoot. Mischief is afoot. And I'm quite surprised that I'm not hearing more out of the chambers. All right. But we will have sufficient time over the next 3 months to interrogate the chambers and for me to show you folks some set pieces. I'm coming back to that. But Priya tried to hoodwink us about the Hosuru $2.6 billion secondary school. That is start, contracted chief out the money, and now they're gone. And now that we expose them and all the unfinished projects, they're now trying to downplay it. Oh, the man, this and that and this, and he wasn't doing the work, and we fire him. You ever know them to be like that? Is that in their nature, as the Trini say? Huh? Is that in their nature? Is that the people that you have come to as the PPP? Huh? No. They're digging their heels until it is absolutely necessary to let people go. So we're not buying what they're selling. Right? We're not buying what they're selling. No way, Jose. No way. But before we get there, as we were on GECOM, here is Commissioner Corbyn saying we're going to shortchange the electorate. Take a look.
For nearly 5 years, the political opposition has been calling for a clean and modified voters list. It has also been calling for biometrics. None of these things has been granted. And despite the perceived irregularity on the part of the GECOM chairperson, there isn't much that can be done.
So the nature of the operation of GECOMs in the context of the law does not easily provide for these things to be addressed in a court. And we've seen the evidence of that in the past in relation to the allegations of fraudulent votes, where the said chairperson said that we could not take any action in that regard, that it had to go to the court. But after the act had already been committed.
Commissioner Vincent Alexander said that this is a case of trying to undo what has been done unilaterally. But any communication by the Commission is transmitted by the chairman. Commissioner Charles Corbin said that before the chairperson could transmit any discussion, the Commission must deliberate.
What has happened here, as outlined in the statement, is that what the president has indicated is which he says he got from the chairman, is a misrepresentation of what happened and what was the position of the commission at the time when that communication occurred.
He said that there was no consultation with the commissioners. The time for certain practices has been unilaterally reduced.
For contestants, those who are wanting to enter the time frame, we've received calls asking for guidance if we want to get in what to do. The fact is that those persons who are now learning the process but want to get involved will have, first of all, to understand, and then they have 4 days to respond. We have had situations where someone wanting to be a presidential candidate of a party interfaced with the commission, and during that meeting, we were able to point out and said, what's your name? We are not seeing it on the list.
He said that the present situation means that the public would be shortchanged. This would affect the delivery of an election that would be considered free and fair.
Yep. So there you have it. People are going to be shortchanged. They're going to be shortchanged. How could a chairman and a CEO alone? Why then do we have a commission? Why then do we have a commission? And that is why I said I'm surprised. I'm not hearing more out of the GCCI, out of the private sector commission. You know, they don't have a first bell ring. And that is why I heard the leader of the opposition, Mr. Norton, advocating months ago that we should have these observers, the foreign observers, here much earlier. Much earlier. Because we know all too well as Guyanese. What you see in broad daylight? Don't check lamp stick. Look from nighttime. And we've seen a lot of things in broad daylight. In broad daylight. Why couldn't the chairwoman consult with our commission? What was the hindrance? What was the encumbrance that prevented that? It's a set piece. Here's a set piece. And not only did she only consult with the CEO say, oh, look, I'm happy you called. I'm working on this little plan here. Right? And in this little plan here, we could do it August 25th. If I said, no, the 1st September. The commission was not even appraised of the little plan that the CEO had hatching up and matching up. And you telling me, out of a situation like this, could emerge valid and credible results? Guyanese brothers and sisters at home and abroad. You telling me in this kind of madness, we can have that emerging? Please and thank you. I'm begging you all, make it make sense. For me, make it make sense. And that is why we heard Vincent Alexander, Commissioner, talked about the chairman usurping the functions of the commission. That is not our role. The commission proper is not incapacitated. It was not. Take a look, Vincent Alexander.
There were what was seen as shenanigans that led to President Irfan Ali announcing the date for general and regional elections. Today, Tuesday, the opposition-nominated commissioners made some stunning disclosures at the press conference today.
It should be noted that the revised work plan, as presented by the Chief Elections Officer, established September 22nd, 2025, as the earliest possible date for the holding of elections. However, the president is reported to have said that he consulted with the chairperson of GECOM, who advised him that GECOM would be in a state of readiness to hold elections on September 1st, 2025.
President Ali then announced September 1 as the date for the holding of the elections. Commissioner Vincent Alexander said it was crass for the president to make such an announcement based on the unilateral decision of the GECOM chairperson, Justice Claudette Singh.
This contrived and baseless date is just another instance of the manner of conduct of GECOM and the nation's affairs under the chairmanship of Justice Claudette Singh in conjunction with the Chief Elections Officer and his cohorts, to wit, the PVPC nominated commissioners who prefer to be referred to as the PVPC's representatives, notwithstanding the oath that they took as constitutional officers.
Alexander said that they were made aware of the announced elections date at the same time the nation was. The announcement came during the independence speech by the president. The date doesn't coincide with the work plan of the commission, he said.
The plan that is now in circulation has reduced the time frame by 21 days, which means internal deadlines have been reduced, many of which would be in contradiction to the custom practice and statutory provisions. Secondly, the current work plan has not been discussed with the commission.
According to Alexander, the GECOM chairperson told the president that elections could be held on September 1st.
So she has unilaterally usurped the authority of the commission. And the public disclosure seems to suggest that in fact she was speaking on behalf of the commission, which was not the case, because our last meeting, we were still discussing a plan that proposed the 22nd.
Yeah. And out of that, you could have credible and valid. Them boys digging in the heels. That's what is happening here. They are putting things in place so they get the result that they want, so they can hold on. GECOM playing games. Claudette, you're playing games. Vishnu, you're playing games. You're another commission. And again, I want to reinforce here what Commissioner Corbyn said, that these shortened timelines got some enfranchisement issues, or the other side of that, disenfranchisement issues. There, it got some issues there. Folks share the live, smush that emoji button so others get this valid and credible information as well. And that is what Mr. Corbyn said. Please and thank you. That is what he said. Take a look and take a listen.
President Irfan Ali said September 1 as election day has led to expedited timelines, says Commissioner Charles Corbyn.
In terms of preparing for elections, there are logistical requirements, meaning how much time one can properly take to complete a task. And a number of those tasks, apart from the issues of efficiency, GECOM has established procedures which require for their execution a particular amount of time.
He said that some tasks are specified by law.
When we speak of an expedited timeline, there are discretionary elements. So, for instance, it has been standard. We have never had a claims and objections period in an election cycle that is less than 21 days. 14 days for claims, and it is followed by an additional 7 days for objections.
He said that given the current timeline following the announcement of Election Day, 3 days are allocated. This period was developed through customs.
Another discretionary time is the amount of time allocated to contestants to be able to prepare for nomination day. That is to say, preparing for on nomination day, your submissions are tested for their accuracy and compliance against a list which is produced, so that your submissions, your candidates, and the nominators of those candidates have to exist on the list. Therefore, contestants must be in possession of that list that is going to be used on nomination day for a minimum amount of time to allow them to comply.
As a result of precedents, 30 days are allocated to this procedure.
Now, what is being proposed is that you have 4 days. So while someone coming up will have 4 days between the time when the list becomes available and nomination day. So while the elephants will be able to respond, meaning the big parties, because they're all there in the election machinery. So the PNC and the PPP and the big parties will be able, if you give them 4 days, 1 day, they can be able to respond because they're in the business. But what about the other contestants?
He said that the playing field isn't level.
That's what the PPP is saying. That they ain't got no other contestants. TCI obliterated. Change Initiative. Liberty and Justice disintegrated. Don't talk about Asha. Asha Party. Watch for Asha announcement. Watch for Asha endorsement. I endorse the PPP. You all watch for Asha endorsement. Asha give young people a bad name in politics. Held on to that seat. She gave young people a bad name in politics. Her kind of politics is politics without principle. That is her kind of politics. Politics without principle. But folks, hear me out. There's a school of thought that suggests why the PPP, the chairman, the CEO, would go against all convention, would go against constitutionality to pull this election forward. There's a school of thought, right? Somebody says school of thought. There's a school of thought that says the longer this election is delayed and more nonsense about the PPP is unearthed, the more it hurts them. So the faster you get a slam bam, thank you, ma'am, the better for them. They feel gratified and they're gone. They already care about you. They don't care if you're satisfied. You see? Slam bam, thank you, ma'am. They feel like so they're gone. You see? But some things take time. You can't hurry everything. Some meat gotta be slow cooked. But the only one please itself. And that is why we are where we are. The longer it takes for us to go to the polls, and the more corruption, nepotism, friends, family, and favorites is uncovered, secret deals, under the table business, backroom business, backdoor. You know they like backdoor business. Backdoor business. The worse it is for them. So let me do it quick. Let me have a quickie election. You see? Get the result that we want. Come on, Claudette. Pick up the pace. That's very Vishnu could say, look, I ain't working on this thing by myself here. in this corner. Commission was a commission. What's a GECOM commission? The longer it takes, the more you have issues like we unearthed. Good folks. In Hosuru, the more of them you will see. The more you will see. Now they're trying to downplay it. Oh, we knew the contractor wasn't performing and we pulled it. Well, y'all were never about performance. Y'all are about quickies. You don't care the satisfaction the people get. Once you're satisfied, you get a little backdoor business done and you're satisfied. But we'll keep exposing. We'll keep exposing like we did quite recently, folks. We will continue to do that. Because when you know the nature of the beast you got to deal with, we can continue to expose. Some of what we unearthed in Hosuru, in Mabaroma, in Region 1. Take a look.
Parliament Sherrod Duncan, during a recent visit to Hosuru in Region 1, found that a secondary school project costing millions of dollars has been abandoned.
It's a new school they're building here, but I should say it's a new school they've started. This school, I think, costs about $2 billion on paper, and they're saying this school is about 60% complete. Now, the project has been abandoned. There is nothing happening here.
He said that the contractors left the billion-dollar project.
There's no construction equipment in sight. There's no personnel in sight. And from everything we're seeing here, this site has not been used in a little while. There's been nobody here for a little while. That's what the residents told us. That's what brought us here, that the new secondary school has been abandoned by the government. And the residents want to know, when is this building going to be finished?
He contended that the project is going to be hidden from the wider public view.
There is not a completed project here in the last 5 years. There is no project in all of Region 1 that the government can point to and say, look, we have started this and we have completed it. There are many projects that they have started here. Even this is one of them, about a handful of them. And residents want to know, when is this going to be completed?
Duncan said that whatever has been completed is at the mercies of the elements. There is also a $1 billion road program in Hosuru. He said that the road is being constructed, but there is no drainage. It runs through a hill.
They're telling us that this road here is being constructed by the current administration. Now, that's all well and good. I do not believe that this government would undertake a project like this magnitude, but don't put any drains.
He said that with the rainy season, there is a large-scale erosion at the side of the road. He predicted that the road wouldn't survive 3 rainy seasons.
I do not believe any sensible government who wants value for money spent would agree to a road project of this magnitude. I'm certain this is very, very costly to do this. And you would have this road being constructed and no thought is being given to drainage.
Pay some power, folks. Pay some power, pay some power, pay some power, pay some power. The wicked, and they're so known for the victimization. People are afraid to speak out. But y'all come for me. I got a broad back. I able to do all this. 3 sons I produce, you know. I tell you, I don't toot my horn often. I don't, apparently. It has occurred to me, as a man would say, I don't toot my horn too often. You know? Wicked government. Wicked government. Wicked government. Installed regime. That's what they are. Good folks, that's what they are. Couple things quickly before we let you go. Couple things quickly. I wish we had some more time to massage this issue about the Venezuelan terrorists Adriana Young happened. 11-year-old went missing. She wasn't in the pool. She was in no pool. No press conference on the police force. Venezuelans, they called terrorists, set explosive devices at a police station, GPL substation, detonated them. No press conference on the police force. Are they sleeper cells? Cameras outside both facilities. And we don't see any video footage of when these men went and placed those devices there. We don't see any footage. You got police wearing body cameras now. Incidents happen. You don't see any footage. And then them boys telling us, oh, when we come back in government, we're going to invest in drone technology to boost security. Isn't it the same thing they tell us for the cameras? Isn't it the same thing they tell us for the cameras? But we see the cameras in, the security not security yet. They say vote back for we. We want to bring drones. It seemed to be correct. What the old people used to say, and you know the old people are always right. The more you look, the less you see. The stricter the government, the wiser the population. You come with drones now, you could barely make the cameras work. You could barely make the, what you would call it, work, body cams. Is drone you going with? Huh? Is drone you going with? Is that house here, one people? Is Aubrey house? Is Asha dead? You gotta watch them. You gotta watch them. They're coming out with drones. Yeah, no clouded story. We've exhausted that. But I see the private sector commission says they're going to deploy independent observers. I hope you screen them. I hope we can see some due diligence, background for these observers. Because I remember the last election, the private sector commission under Captain Jerry Gavai had a man named Garly Cat there who was wanted by U.S. authorities. Spent some time incarcerated in the U.S., came back home quietly, convicted in the U.S., came back home quietly, had a firearm. And you all know what happened to that young lady. Was it over the river? Now he's on remand. He was an observer. So when the private sector start talking with independent observers, forgive me, right? If I'm not doing backflips, forgive me. Then we see the Georgetown Chambers of Commerce, GCCI, urging GECOM to have credible and impartial officials in these polls. So when Claude is going? When Claude is going? When Vishnu resigning? You say one credible and impartial officials. Huh? When? Credible and impartial observers too. You all remember Swift Girl, Roslinda? She quick on her feet, agile. Swift Girl. She was an observer. She was an observer for one of these observer bodies locally. And for her observation, oh my God, she gets so much of brown bags. She hold down work for 3 people. But then again, that's how she's work, eh? That's how she's work. She hold a long thing, 3 people supposed to be taken off. She alone. She on board here. She on board there. This work, that work. Yeah. All of that after the 2020. Here's a young lady who said she was an observer. But yet, observing all of these things, she never make one report to Mr. Thomas, who burned the books. Yep. Commander, he's another observer. He say he observed a lot of things that he put on in his diary. What's the fella name? But Thomas is the fella name. I know y'all sharp. He observed so much, June Cameron. The books went missing. His station diary, he said, was missing. And then he burned them. Folks, you don't see behavior like this every day. He burned the books. That's what he said he did. Burn the books. Burn the books. Yeah. Let it have been Loinfield who burned the books. Or Myers who burned the books. Huh? Let it have been Mingo who burned the books. You'll hear guilty as charged. Edgar Thomas, former commander. Right? Former commander. What? I wanted to surprise anybody in the Private Sector Commission. I wanted to surprise anybody in the GCCI. The commander said he witnessed this, he witnessed that, and it was so sensitive. He made a note. Then he burned the books. Rasul, Swift girl, she was so incensed with all that she saw, but she didn't report it to nobody. She even had a book. She did not even have a book to burn. So I watching the PFC and the GCI with 10 eyes, not even 4. I watching them with 10 eyes. Because y'all know the old people say. You know the old people say. When you see them broad, they're like, don't take candlestick for look from nighttime. Don't do it. Why sensation and a young body gun? Bird nest fly out. There's a wicked government. There's a wicked government. If they make it to heaven, I can take someplace else. Then we can't go in the same place. But if they make it to heaven, I ain't gonna take somewhere else. We can't be going the same place. They're wicked. They're gone to cook up and to store up and to incite. I see the Secretary of State, right? Marco Rubio, Concussion Road. The man said those who want to stifle the free speech of our citizens, we coming after them. Jack, you're taking note? Orphan, or fat, or slims. You're taking note? Those who want to stifle our citizens, freedom of speech, Jack Dio. Right? Y'all think it's one side of the political aisle all the surprises can come from in this election? Watch and see if the Americans don't snatch some of them before this whole thing is finalized. Watch and see. Right? Watch and see. They only like to talk about businessmen and philanthropists, billionaire businessman Ashuddin Mohammed. But they don't go on the other side and talk about me, their PS, their Central Committee executive member, who was sanctioned as well, the start half and left half. I'm happy to see the New Amsterdam Council says that they're using their subvention for the people. Not for thief it out like the PPP. And finally, folks, finally, the closer as we go. I was in Region 1, as you know. But I heard you got a big fight. I said, well, like all the action happening at the border when we left. When we left Mbatero, Yarakita, like all the action. I hear big fight. You know, I put it on my boots, then I hear coffee. Right? Like they take this word literally, cough, she. Big fight. Listen, folks, we big. Let me act it. We should be focused on what happening at GECOM and other places. The Private Sector Commission, the Johnson Chambers of Commerce scrutinize these scrutineers. But look what we focus on. Huh? Beating up on each other. What are we teaching the kids? You know? What are we teaching the kids? That's my fear. What are we teaching them? What are we telling them? What example are we setting? When senior police, former retired Assistant Commissioner of Police, Paul Slow, when Paul Slow speaks, I got my iPad and my Apple Pencil. I got my notepad, making notes. And he spoke to this issue quite recently. The closer, folks, the closer. Paul Slow, and this issue of the fighting, the arrests and the charges. Paul Slow know the whole thing. Top to bottom. That's how you know it. Folks, you calm down yourselves. And let us not just be big people in name. You know? You catch? Not just big people in name. But let me act the part as well. Please and thank you. Let us act the part as well. Right? I love some of the things he said because as a senior policeman, still, it's in his blood. Right? He understands how the thing should go and how it shouldn't go. He understands it. So take a look and take a listen of some of what he had to say. Please and thank you on the subject matter. Do we have it? Well, I hope we do. Some of what Paul Slow had to say on the very subject matter. I hope we have it. Right? Nothing irregular, folks. That's what I want to tell you. Nothing. Not regular. Nothing irregular. Give us a sec. We're going to get it queued up. Nothing. Not regular. Nothing irregular. The closer, folks. Do we have it? I hope we do. I hope we do. I hope we do. Big people acting like kids. Huh? Big people acting like kids. We got to pull ourselves. Hold a focus now, man. Hold a focus. All right, I think we got it now. Forgive us. Forgive us. I hate having to stall. Hate having to stall. It is what it is. Forgive us, good people. Hold a focus. All right, I don't think we do. Forgive us. We're going to come to that tomorrow. Hold a focus. Don't let us detain you longer. We're going to set it up for you in our morning broadcast, which is impetus for you to join us in the morning. Pace upon. Let's leave it there, folks, and we catch you guys on the next broadcast. We're going to post it as well on our page. We're going to see you guys in the next broadcast. Have a fantastic evening. Thanks for joining us. You're going to confuse myself, you know. Thanks for joining us, Mark and Orin, Robin and Eva, Everil, and all of you folks. Yeah, Edgar burn the books. Edgar Thomas, burn the books. Right? Is there a penalty for that? You know, is there a charge for that? Burn the books. And they're in suspect. They're in suspect. And Edgar, you got a role to play in this next election, you know. More books can burn. More books can burn. Take care, guys. Take care. See you guys in